The following is a segment of an interview conducted with broadcast journalist Hugh Hewitt and Dr. Michael Youssef on September 26th in Atlanta, Georgia. The interview explores Dr. Youssef's unique perspective and insights on the challenge of Islam, captured in his new book, Jesus, Jihad, and Peace.
Nasser threw, I say Qutb, I'm probably mispronouncing it, I've been reading it for years, Qutb, and threw him into jail, and there he really spread this virus that has now burst out into the world. Can you just chart, for the benefit of someone who doesn't know, how it transmitted?
Well, in the early days of the revolution, before Nasser and his military colleagues toppled the King Farouk and kicked out the British and the British rule, there was a collaboration between the Muslim Brotherhood and this called the Free Army Officers. Yeah. And the contact man between the Muslim Brotherhood and the officers is a young officer by the name of Anwar Sadat. Yeah. And they felt he is the one more religious than the rest of them because the others were rascals, including Nasser. He wasn't really religious in any sense.
Rascal is not a word I think of when I think of Nasser, but go ahead.
but that, so they said, you are devout, you're a religious guy, you deal with them, get their support until we have. So as soon as the revolution succeeded in '52, the Muslim Brothers said, okay, now here's what we want to have, Sharia and this and that. And he basically got up in Alexandria and made a speech mocking them and mocking what they're asking for. And so the tension started between them, and basically he put Said Qutb in prison and killed him. And the court, of course, always found everybody Nasser didn't want guilty.
Hung in 1966, right?
Right. But his book, it was absolutely spreading like wildfire. It was illegal in Egypt, but outside of Egypt, it was being printed and passed along. And among those who have read his book, which is exactly what you see today in ISIS, the very things that he proclaimed in that book, the overthrow all of these pro-Western Arab governments and bringing in an Islamist rule, and eventually bringing a caliphate back. Caliphate is a word that gets bandied about. It's really an Arabic word, means successor. And when Muhammad died, he had 4 successors, and then it stopped because they fought over it. And until the Turks came, and when the Turks came along, the Ottomans, they said, we're the successors, we're the caliphate. And then when they faded away by World War I, they have not had one. And so the idea was to bring about a revolt globally, and at that moment the caliphate will appear, and he will rule and dominate not just the Muslim world, but the entire world.
You know what's amazing to me is, as I've read your material, Lawrence Wright's, Dexter Filkins, no one could take Osama bin Laden or Zawahiri seriously in the West because it was so preposterous what they said they were going to do. Yeah. But prophetically, they had their eye on their ball, and they have moved it forward using an American football analogy continually, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And they're patient, and they're persevering, and they will wait, and they will never give up. And while we in the West have such an attention span worth about 10 minutes, and if it doesn't work, we move on. But unfortunately, they're not like that.